ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Dear friends, in the last class we completed the 21st mantra of the second valli of first adhyaya, that is asino duram vrajati shayano yati sarvatah. That mantra we completed, and the entire bhashyam also has been completed. In that, the all pervasive nature of the atma chaitanya is sarva vyapi. That consciousness, that supreme consciousness is something which is sarva vyapi. So that has been told in that. So the next thing is again similar. He is similar to the same thing. It is Lord Yama is continuing to tell about the Atma Tattva, the nature of Atman. What is the nature of Atman? Let us read the mantra. Ashariram sharireshu anavastheshvavasthitam mahantam vibhumatmanam matvadhiro nashochati. So the mantra is simple. Ashariram sharireshu. This is something similar to what we saw in Gita. In Gita also, the second adhyaya we saw one shloka. Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyokta sharirinaha. There they talked about deha. Here the Shruti is saying about sharira. Antavanta ime dehaha. All these dehas are antavantaha, of one dehi. So here the word instead of deha, here it is the words used as shariri in various sharireshu. So ashariram sharireshu. This Atma Tattva is something which is ashariram. Sharira, we have to see the etymological meaning of all these words, particularly in these Upanishads. Deha, in Gita we saw deha. What is the meaning of deha? It comes from the root diha upachaye. By every day eating food, every day it requires food, and by eating food it grows. So diha upachaye. Upachaya means it growing and growing by taking food. So that is the characteristics of a deha. So sharira is something shiryate. The dhatu is shiryate. That is that which dries and withers away. You put a leaf in the hot sun, and then that leaf it dries and withers away. So something like that. That which withers away, that which drops off is what is sharira. But this is something, Atma is something which does not wither away in all these sharireshu. So here if we see, ashariram is only one singular number. Sharireshu is plural. That is, in all the multiple things which we see around, there is only one ashariram. There is only one thing which does not fall off, one thing which is permanent. So that is the meaning of ashariram, that which does not fall off, that doesn't wither away. Ashariram, that which has nothing to do with the body, if we talk in terms of the body. Sharireshu, in so many bodies, in so many beings, in so many appearances. This is the thing which is something which is there, which does not wither away. All other things, all these appearances wither away. But then this is the permanent thing behind all those appearances which does not wither away. Then anavastheshu avasthitam. Then anavastha, the word avastha is a state of permanence, let us say. In Telugu we use the word wrongly. We use the word when we say avastha, difficulty. There is a semantic change which it has undergone, and we say it is a problem, it is something like a difficulty. Something similar to predicament. Predicament is a very neutral word in English, but now the word has acquired a negative meaning. Predicament means a difficult situation. So something like that. Avastha is a state of stability. All these things, all these shariras are anavasthaha. That is, they are impermanent. They are not stable, they are impermanent. Anavastheshu avasthitam. That which is permanent in all impermanent things. So that is the meaning of this line. Anavastheshu avasthitam, one thing which is avasthita, or one thing which is permanent, unchanging in all these changing things. Then Mahantam Vibhum Atmanam. Mahantam. Mahan is the word. Mahantam is Dvitiya Vibhakti. Ramam is the Dvitiya. Something like that is Mahantam. Mahantam is that particular one we are not able to comprehend. That is what he is going to say. Mahantam, that is something which is great. And what is the greatness of it? How big is it? Suppose I say something is very big. How big is it? The question is, that is, it cannot be described. That is why the next word comes Vibhu. Vibhu means Sarva Vyapi, that which is present everywhere. That which is, Vividham Bhavati, it is there everywhere. That is that which is taking the shapes of so many things. So, that is that Vibhu, that which is everywhere. That is that Atmanam Matva. By realizing that, then Dhiraha na shochati. A Dhira, we have come across this word. Dhira is one who has got that self-control. Dhira means literally a valorous person. So in Vedanta, a valorous person is not some fighter like Schwarzenegger or somebody. A valorous person is one who has controlled his mind, and he has controlled his sense organs, this indriyas, the mind and indriyas, one who has controlled. He is a Dhira, he is a valorous man, and not some Schwarzenegger who can defeat some 10 opponents, or not that. So Matva Dhiraha na shochati. So when once you realize this, when once you realize that thing which does not fall off in all these things, and then that which is permanent in all these impermanent things, and that which is all pervading, then knowing that as his own self, the word Matva means having realized, having understood that. Understood what? Understood that that is not different from me. I am the same as that. So that is that Sakshatkara. So having known that, Dhiraha na shochati. So he goes beyond grief. He will not grieve. A person will grieve only so long as he identifies himself with the body-mind complex, and when he desires something else in order to get some whatever happiness he wants to have. So when once he feels that he is, everything is with him, everything is in him, so then he has no reason for any grief, he has no reason for worry. So the mantra is very simple. Words have you understood? Sharireshu ashariram, anavastheshu avasthitam, then mahantam, vibhum. All these words are in Dvitiya Vibhakti. Ramaha Ramav Ramaha, Ramam Ramav Raman. So all that Ramam word you will remember, all these words are in Dvitiya Vibhakti. This particular Atma, Matva, having realized, Dhiraha na shochati. Let us read the Bhashyam. Ashariram Svena Rupena Akasha Kalpaha Atma Tam Ashariram Sharireshu Deva Pitru Manushyadi Sharireshu Anavastheshu will come later. We will first see the word Ashariram. Ashariram Svena Rupena Akasha Kalpaha Atma. Svena Rupena means by itself. Svena Rupa. Swa is one's own. Svena Rupena means by itself it is Ashariram. So here actually one commentator has written about what is a Shariram. So one commentator, that is this Anandagiri, I have told about this Anandagiri who comments on Shankaracharya's commentaries. He elaborates Shankaracharya's commentary. There he has explained one more word called Abhimanika Shariram. Abhimanika Shariram means you assume a particular type of personality. Suppose you have a lot of money in the bank. So with all your bank balance, you feel you are a rich man. So that feeling that I am a rich man is your personality. So you have got some 10 gundas behind you. So some say 100 gundas are with you, and then they can acquire anything, they can go and do anything which you want. So you feel powerful. Suppose you are a political leader with a large following. So that thing will give you a sort of assumed personality. That is abhimana. You develop a abhimana. Abhimana means this is mine. So that particular personality you assume. You assume that personality. So that sort of abhimanika shariratvam also is denied in this particular Atma. That is what he says. And shariras are again of different types. In this particular word, ashariram sharireshu, the commentator also says, you see, a human being, we know that he is taking up so many janmas. He is taking up so many janmas. This is only one sharira which you are having. Prior to this, hundreds and hundreds of shariras have gone, and later again some more shariras may come. Say if we don't realize our own self, then in all these shariras, this is something which is ashariram. In all these bodies which have gone by, and then all bodies which are likely to come in future, this is something which is ashariram. This is something which is untouched, and then which does not fall off, which does not wither away. Ashariram. Then we also know about the other shariras. What is it? Sthula sharira, sukshma sharira, karana sharira. In these shariras also it is something which is underlying in all these things, the consciousness which is underlying in all these things, but at the same time unaffected by those things, unaffected by the body, unaffected by all the weaknesses of the mind. Weaknesses of the mind are love, hatred, raga, dvesha, etc. All these things, that is the chitta mala. All these things, that is the dirt which is associated with the mind. But then this atma is something which is unaffected by all that. So that is one type of sharira. Then we talk about this pancha kosha and all that. So this pancha kosha is again that annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, all these things, they are again also shariras, all rather sheaths, let us say. So with all these things, this is something which is ashariram. It is something which is untouched. So in so many bodies, and in so many bodies of all beings, sharireshu, in so many bodies of all beings, starting from an ant to an elephant, or go down to, even ant is quite a big animal, go down to an amoeba, or go down to bacteria. So go down to that level of bacteria up to a big elephant or maybe a dinosaur or much bigger thing. This is something which is ashariram. So that is the meaning of ashariram. But svena rupena akasha kalpaha. Akasha kalpaha means comparable to akasha. Comparable to akasha, that is that space where, which is totally infinite and which cannot be identified with any sort of delimited body. Svena rupena akasha kalpaha atma tam ashariram sharireshu. He is also giving one more example. Deva pitru manushyadi sharireshu. So manushya sharira we know. What about deva sharira and pitru sharira? Deva sharira and pitru sharira, they don't have physical bodies like us. They have the subtle bodies, what we call the sukshma sharira. They are supposed to be having the sukshma sharira, and then their life may be quite long, but then after their punya or whatever it is over, they will again come back, isn't it? So deva sharira and pitru sharira, they are supposed to be not physical bodies like ours. They are supposed to be the subtle bodies. So in all these shariras, whether it is a deva sharira or a pitru sharira or a manushya sharira, or whether it is your purva janma, whatever all these shariras which have gone by, or if you refer to sthula sukshma karana sharira, whatever type of sharira you take, this is something which is untouched by all these things, which does not fade away. Then anavastheshu avasthitam avasthiti rahiteshu avasthitam nityam avikrutam ityetat. So anavastheshu, what is this? Avasthiti rahiteshu. Avasthiti means stability, stability or permanence. So in all those things which lack that stability, all the shariras, they are quite impermanent, quite ephemeral in nature. In all these things, this is something which is avasthitam. This is the only thing which is the continuing factor, which is the common factor, or which is going on. Vedanta, they use the word anusyuta. Anusyuta means something like a small thread in a garland. Anusyuta, it goes on in that, in everything it is there. So that principle of existence and consciousness is something which is existing in all, which is there, immanent in all the things. So these things we have come across in Gita also. This existence, consciousness, we have come across in the 16th shloka of 2nd chapter of Gita. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. There is a very elaborate commentary in that. So this is something nityam. Nityam means that which is permanent, that consciousness principle which is permanent. Avikrutam. Avikrutam means unchanging. That which undergoes change is called a vikari. Vikara, the meaning of vikara we have to keep in mind. Vikara means today it is in this shape. Suppose I break this, so it changes. The change, any particular change, anything which can undergo a change is a vikari. Vikara does not mean ugliness, any change. It can be alankara also. An alankara also vikara. Suppose you do a very good makeup to a very good looking woman. So you can call it a vikaram because that is a change. Technically it is a change. So avikrutam ityetat. Then mahantam mahatvasya apekshikatva shankayam
महत्वस्य आपेक्षिकत्व शंकायां
aha vibhum vyapinam atmanam. So when he uses the word mahantam, when you say mahan, what is that mahan? Mahan means mighty, great, big, huge. You use any other adjective. Mahatvasya apekshikatva shankayam. Then question comes, mahatvam is apekshikam. Apekshikam means relative. Apekshikam is totally relative. Say it is one can be compared with another. So if you say this house is very big, there can be much bigger houses. You build another say 10-storied building, there are 100-storied buildings in some other countries. So this is apekshikam. This is something bigger and bigger. How big it is, you cannot have any limit for that. So because of this shanka, because of this doubt, he says vibhu. Vibhu means vyapi. Vyapinam atmanam mahatvasya apekshikatva shankayam, because man does not know his own greatness. That is the overall meaning of it. So the human being, he does not know his own greatness. He feels that he is confined by this body-mind complex. This Atma is something which is great, which is so big, so huge. It is something which is all pervading. So that is the meaning. Mahatvasya apekshikatva shankayam aha vibhum vyapinam atmanam. Then Lord Yama is saying, you are a vibhu, you are the Atma, you are the all pervading self. That is it. Atmanam, Atmagrahanam, Swataha, Ananyatva Pradarshyanartham. Okay, Atmagrahanam means the use of the word Atma is to say that you are not different from that. Ananyatva Grahanartham. What is it? Mahantam Vibhum Atmanam Matva. So that Atmanam Matva, that self you realize as your own self. It is not something. Atmanaha Swataha Ananyatva Pradarshyanartham. Swataha means of this particular man under discussion. Ananyatvam. He is not different from that. He is not different from that Atma. Ananyatva Pradarshyanartham. Lord Yama is trying to explain that it is something not different from your own Atma. Ananyatva Pradarshyanartham. Then Atma Shabdaha Pratyagatma Vishaye eva Mukhyaha. So when we use the word Atma, Atma is the Mukhyartha, that is the main meaning of this Atma is, main meaning means in almost all the contexts in Vedanta, in every context, in every situation, in every place in Vedanta, when you use the word Atma, the Mukhyartha is referring to Pratyagatma. Pratyak means that which is inside. Inside Atma means it does not mean that behind the body there is something which is there in the heart or which is in buddhi, there is something if you break it open and it is available. It is not like that. Inside means that which is illumining this particular say entity called Antahkaranam. There is what is called buddhi, that is the mind or Antahkaranam as we call it. So that mind, for cognizing the mind or for illumining the mind, or what is the force that is behind the mind, what is the say intelligence that is activating the mind, so that intelligence which is activating the mind is called Atma. That is what is called Pratyagatma, the inside self, the inner self as we can call it. Pratyagatma, strictly speaking we can call it the inner self. So when we use the word Atma, the Atma word is well known only as only to refer to this inner self, Pratyagatma. Pratyagatma Vishaye eva Mukhyaha. Tam idrusham Atmanam Matva Ayam Ahamiti Dhiraha Dhiman na shochati. So he is explaining the word Matva. Manu dhatu, Manute. Manute means he, English word mean also is the same thing. He means it, something like that. Manute, that means he means, he thinks like that. Matva means having realized, having understood. Having understood what? Tam tam idrusham atmanam. Idrusham means this type of atma. Idrusham atma, this type of atma. This type of atma means the one which has been described so far. Then matva, how I am aham iti. This I am. I am is this one. Aham iti. I am that. I am actually means that. That is me. I am not different from that. So that is the meaning. I am aham iti. That I am that iti matva. Having realized, this is called sakshatkara. Sakshatkara means a realization. A realization that I am not different from that. Sakshat means it's a direct perception. It is indirect perception is something different. Sakshad, aparoksha it is called. Paroksha and aparoksha and sakshad, aparoksha, these three words we usually use in Vedanta. Paroksha is something which is, pratyaksha is something which I am able to see in front of my eye or any sense organ, whatever is perceptible by any sense organ is pratyaksha. Aksham means indriyam or a sense organ. Prati plus aksha, aksham prati. That means that which is in front of your sense organ is pratyaksham. Then paroksha. That is something which is not in front of your sense organ, but which has been told by some book or something like that. You have read some book and then that book talks about some swarga, some type of description about swarga. So that is something which is paroksha. Then aparoksha is you are happy, you are unhappy sometimes. So this sukha and dukkha are certain things which are called, which are aparoksha. They are known to you only. I can't say you are happy or unhappy. This is something which is known to you only. So what you are, it is known to you only. Then aparoksha. Then so the Vedanta says, okay, tattvamasi, aham. Then say the teacher comes and says dashamastvamasi. All these things he will say. And then you have to realize, you have to feel that you are that. So that feeling or realization that you are that. So when you come to that stage, by purification of mind and all that, of course, that is also going to come. By mere theoretical learning, it is not going to come. A lot of, mental purification is required. So that is what we see in, that is the basic problem in, grihasthashrama. Even a sannyasi will not be able to get it easily. Even a sannyasi, it will be very, very difficult for him to attain this stage. So anyway, matva, that is having realized, I am ahamiti, I am that, he has to realize that. Then dhiraha dhiman na shochati. Dhira is one word which is commonly used in Vedanta. In fact, if you see that Lalita Sahasranama, there is a name, Viragosthi Priya Veera. Viragosthi Priya, Lalita, that supreme deity, she is supposed to be the Viragosthi Priya. Have you heard this word? Viragosthi. She only wants to listen about valorous things. What is that valor? Viragoshti. Goshti means samvada. That is something to do with, something to do with some warfare or something like that. The literal meaning is warfare, but it is not warfare here. It is valorous thing. That is, a man is not supposed to be a timid person. A man is not supposed to be cynical. A person is not supposed to be, by reading of Vedanta, a person is not supposed to be cynical and then totally disillusioned. He is supposed to be more enlightened about things. He is supposed to be more energetic. A person who reads Vedanta should not become cynical. He should become more energetic about his objectives. If he is in that Atma Jnana path, he has to totally discard all these things. And then he has to, whatever he does, he has to do for the welfare of the world with more briskly. And we come across the examples of King Janaka and King Rama and others in Gita. So that is the thing. Dhiraha, dhiman na shochati. So he comes out of grief. He has no cause for grief. All grief is because of misunderstanding. Dukkham nama prajnaparadha eva. That is some statement. Our Tattvavidananda ji, he says, I don't remember where exactly it is, this shloka in the line is, but this is the line which he quotes. Must be somewhere in Sankara Bhashyam only. Dukkham nama prajnaparadham eva. Dukkham or sorrow is only a wrong understanding. It's your own misconception, that your own lack of perception about your own self, that you are sorrowful. So that is it. Then, nahi evam vidhasya atmavidah शोकोपपत्तिः
shokopattihi.
So a person who does not know his self, he feels that he is a miserable being. One who knows this evam vidha atma vidaha, this type of atma jnani, this type of person who knows about his real nature of his self, tasyat shokopapatihi na vidyate. There is no possibility of shoka, there is no possibility of sorrow. Then yadyapi durvigneyaha ayam atma
durvigneyaha ayam atma
tathapi upayena suvigneya eva
suvigneya
ityaha. So this means yadyapi durvigneyaha ayam atma, though this atma is something which is very very difficult to understand or realize, still by some upaya, by some process, by some sort of strategy, upaya actually means strategy, upaya, it is possible to know that. It is possible to know that very well. Suvigneya eva. Then let us read the next mantra. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo namedhaya na bahudhashrutena bahunashrutena yamevaisha vrunute tena labhyah tasyaisha atma vivrunute tanugum swam tasyaisha atma vivrunute tanugum swam tasyaisha tasya plus yesha tasyaisha yes vivrunute tanugum swam. So na ayam atma pravachanena labhyah. So you see, then what is the strategy? What is the strategy to know that atma? Then he is saying yame vaisha vrunute tena labhyah. There should be a single pointed focus on that. If you are looking at the world and also looking at Brahma, you will not get it. You are also doing your all worldly activities and still some part-time activity, this Brahma Jignasa, then that part-time activity will not fetch you this Brahma. So it should be a full-time activity. There is no question of part-time work in Brahma Jnana. It should be a full-time work and then full-time focus on this. That is it. That is the meaning of it. Na ayam atma pravachanena labhyaha. Ayam atma means this atma pravachanena. Pra plus vachana, that is by merely, pravachana does not mean giving lectures. It is not in the sense of lectures. In the sense of acquiring knowledge of various Vedas and all these things. And actually Anandagiri comments says, he says that Vedas excluding Upanishad. You read any amount of Veda excluding Upanishad, you will not get it. So which means you have to read Upanishads. That is how Anandagiri interprets. But anyway, pravachanena na labhyaha. By merely reading all these Vedas, you will not get it. Then na medhaya. Medha means intellect. All types of intellectual jugglery and intellectual discussions and whatnot, without actually contemplating on that and without actually purifying your mind, if you just keep on debating at an intellectual level, it is not possible. Na medhaya. Medha is basically possible, is mainly useful for debate. Medha Shakti, you know, Medhavi. Medhavi is an intellectual. Intellectual keeps on debating. He may not have any conviction. He may not have any conviction. He may not have any honesty. But then he keeps on debating. If one Congress party gives money, he will talk on behalf of Congress party. If some other party gives money, he will talk on behalf of that party. So an intellectual is one who can talk on behalf of any party by changing his, say, his Medha Shakti. So that is what we see. We see every day. The moment you open a TV, the moment you read a newspaper article, so you can say he is a so-and-so party intellectual, he is so-and-so party intellectual. So that is the thing. So Medha is basically useful for that type of the activity. Then na bahuna shrutena. Then by mere Veda, Shruti, here again Shruti means Veda, by mere Veda, that is without this Shravana, Manana, without that Nididhyasana. By mere Veda means he has done that Shruti, Shravanam he has done. But then he has not done this Mananam and Nididhyasanam. So without all that, then Yame Vaisha Vrunute Tena Labhyaha. This word Yame Vaisha is interpreted in two ways. I will explain it slowly, but one interpretation which I will give you now, that is Yam Eva Esha. Yam Eva. Eva means only. Yam means which one. Esha means this person. Esha. So the meaning is, Esha means sadhakah, he is the seeker. Seeker, yam eva vrunute. So if he chooses that alone and nothing else, a single pointed focus, something like blinkers to a horse. You have to, of course, that is not a good comparison. Blinkered horse is not a good comparison. So it is, he should have a single focus on all these things. He has to, blinkered horse, why it is not a good comparison is, you are forcibly closing its eyes and not allowing it to see all around. But this man, he is in the active world, he has discarded all the world by viveka. By viveka means by analyzing, by discriminating their uselessness, their impermanence, he has discarded all those things. So he is not like a blinkered horse. He is very much in the active world. He is seeing all the attractions, but still he is not somebody who is attracted by all these things. And then he has a single pointed focus on this particular Atma. So Esha sadhakaha yameva vrunute, and he chooses that alone. So then Tena labhyaha. Vrunute means vrui dhatu, vrui varane. Varanam means kanya varanam. Varanam, kanya varanam. What is it? The kanya, the maiden, she has to choose a husband. So that is called varanam. Varudu, vara. What is the meaning of vara? Vara means one who is a chosen person. Kanya chooses a person. He is called a vara, isn't it? So that dhatu is that something like that. In fact, the metaphor is that only. In fact, the metaphor is a beloved choosing say the other person. A person, maybe man or woman, whatever it is, choosing the other beloved. So that is the metaphor actually here. So you are choosing your beloved, the most beloved person. So the Atma should be the most beloved person for you. Nothing else should be beloved for you. So yam eva isha vrunute, that is from that dhatu vrunute, that is the meaning. Tena labhyaha, so such a person will attain it. If you have such single focus, single pointed attention. Then tasya esha atma vivrunute tanugam swam. Tasya esha atma, tasya esha atma. Atma is masculine gender. So that is why esha. Esha means this one, this atma. Tasya, to such a gentleman, to such a person who has that single pointed focus. To him, vivrunute tanum swam. The same metaphor of a woman revealing her body, a woman or man, whatever it is, revealing the body, a person, his or her body, to the most beloved person. Vivrunute, that means opens up, that is prakashayati, that is the meaning he says. Vivrunute reveals, swam tanum. Tanu means body. Just as a person reveals his or her body to the most beloved person, so like that, the Atma reveals itself to the person who has a single focus, single-minded attention to that. You followed it? So that is the meaning. Yam eva esha vrunute. Yam eva esha vrunute tena labhyaha. Tasyaisha Atma vivrunute tanugam swam. Swam tanum. Tanu. This word tanu also you can say, okay, I will explain later when we read the bhashyam. The mantra is clear?
Yes.
This mantra is okay. Then next, let us read the bhashyam. Nayam atma pravachanena aneka veda swikaranena labhyaha jneyah napi medhaya granthartha dharana shaktya. So, na ayamatma pravachanena. For this word pravachana, Shankaracharya is giving the meaning. Aneka Veda Swikaranena. You have read all the Vedas. There are so many Vedas, a bundle of Vedas, let us say. At the time of, maybe at this time when this particular mantra was written by whoever is that Rishi, we do not know whether Vyasa had already compiled all the Vedas or organized the Vedas. So that is why he says Aneka Veda Swikaranena. By reading all the types of Vedas, all Vedas, or Veda mantras themselves are called Vedas. So that is why Aneka Veda Swikaranena Nalabhyaha. So it is simply not available by simply learning all Veda by rote, all the Veda, or even by just knowing the literal meaning of that, or at an intellectual level. Na labhyaha na jneyaha. It cannot be known. Napi medhaya. What is medha? Granthartha dharana shaktya. Medha means granthartha dharana shakti. You read 100 books and then you retain all that thing in your mind. And then you are able to use those arguments in contradicting or supporting some other argument. So that is what the Medha can do. But then that Medha is of no use here in knowing the Atma. Then, na bahuna shrutena kevalena.
न बहुना श्रुतेन केवलेन
So, na bahuna shrutena. That is, by merely shravanam. Shrutena kevalena. By merely shravanam. Kevalena means without that nididhyasana, without that anusandhanam. We use the word anusandhanam in Vedanta. Anusandhana means nididhyasana basically involves that anusandhanam. After you clear your mind, after you clearly understand the say what Veda says in Shravana, and after you sort out all your confusions and doubts during the process of Manana, then when Nididhyasana you have to firmly get it entrenched in your mind. So that Nididhyasana, how is it? That you have to slowly do that Anusandhanam. Whatever that says aham brahmasmi, so that you have to start feeling. You have to say, tell yourself, and then you have to start feeling that you are that supreme consciousness. So that is what is called Anusandhana. By one who does that Anusandhana, then only it is possible. Then kena tarhi labhyaha
केन तर्हि लभ्यः
ityuchyate.
इत्युच्यते
Kena tarhi means then, in that case, kena labhyaha, by whom is it obtained? Then he says, then he is explaining that word yameva isha vrunute. Yameva
यमेव
svatmanam
स्वात्मानं
esha sadhakaha
एष साधकः
vrunute prarthayate.
वृणुते प्रार्थयते.
So yam eva svatmanam. So one has to choose one's own self. It is like putting your garland in your own on your own neck. You are going in search of a bride or bridegroom, and then you ultimately put your garland in your own neck. So that is it. Atmanameva runute. That is, he chooses his own self. He is not choosing anybody else. So yameva, that is, you be after that alone. You are not after anything else. You are only after that. So then yameva svatmanam yesha. Yesha, the meaning of yesha is sadhakaha. Yam yesha vrunute. This sadhaka vrunute prarthayate. So that is, he is then is also explaining. In the commentary he says, soham asmi, that is, I am that. So he has to do that anusandhana. He has to think that it is not different from his own self. So yameva vrunute tenaiva atmana varitra
तेनैव आत्मना
varitra
परित्र
swayam atma labhyah
स्वयं आत्मा लभ्यः
ज्ञायते
ज्ञायते
evam ityetat.
एवमित्येतत्.
Okay, by that man only, tenaiva atmana, that is, by that particular person only. Tenaiva atmana means by that manas, by that person. Varitra means by one who makes that choice. Varitra, the word is varitru, something like dhatru shabda. Dhatru shabda, dhata, dhatarav, dhataraha. Dhatra is the tritiya ekavachanam. Here varitra is the tritiya ekavachanam. By that one who chooses. That is the meaning of varitra. By that person who chooses, then swayam atma labhyaha jnayaha evam. This atma will be known in this manner. What is that manner? He is going to again say. He is again saying. So there is another meaning which Anandagiri says. This Anandagiri's line I have written somewhere. Anandagiri writes, Yesha Atma Paramatma Antaryami Rupena Acharya Rupena va Vyavasthitaha Yam Sadhakam Runute Anugrunnahati Tena Parameshwara Anugrahitena Labhyaha, he says. So he interprets, he gives a slightly elaborate meaning for that. Yameva Isha Vrunute. Yam eva esha. Esha means sadhaka. One meaning is sadhaka. Esha, you can also say, take it as atma. Esha atma yam vrunute. This atma, whomever this atma chooses. Atma, how can a atma choose? Atma is there in everybody. In antaryami rupena. Paramatma. Atma means paramatma, antaryami rupena, acharya rupena va. So this Paramatma, it is bestowing its blessings on you. By it is being benevolent on you. So it is bestowing its blessings. In what manner? By telling you from within. Antaryami Rupena. by telling you from within, you be after me, you be after me. So antaryami rupena. Then acharya rupena va. So are in the shape of a good acharya who is again a realized person. So if this Atma chooses a person coming in the shape of or intervening in the shape of an antaryami or intervening in the shape of an acharya. So that is the meaning given by say what is this Anandagiri. Atma antaryami rupena acharya rupena va vyavasthitah yam sadhakam urunute anugrunnhati. It is anugraha. It is a sort of anugraha. In other words, it is a daivanugraha. It means whoever is having that daivanugraha. And one who does not have daivanugraha will not have interest in Vedanta. So that is also implied here. So the very fact that you are sitting in Vedanta or reading this thing, it shows that you are inclined to say travel on this path. You are having some little bit of daivanugraha. In addition to that, if you also focus, you will get better results. So that is the second meaning which he gives. So in the first meaning, Yesha refers to sadhaka who chooses Atma. In the second meaning, Yesha refers to Atma who chooses the sadhaka. Atma who chooses the sadhaka who is in that love, self-love, let us say. Not self-love in another manner, not self-love in a colloquial sense, but in this Vedantic sense. So that is the meaning given by this Anandagiri. That is, in the shape of Antaryami or in the manner of a teacher, he bestows all the blessings on the sadhaka. Then Nishkamasya, that is Atmanam eva prarthayatah.
Atmanam eva prarthayatah.
Atmana, one second. Nishkamasya atmanam eva prarthayata atmana eva. Okay. Prarthayata atmana eva.
Prarthayata atmana eva.
Atma labhyata ityarthaha.
Atma labhyata ityarthaha.
So this Atma is attained by one person, somebody who is a Nishkama. So this Nishkama word is not here in the mantra. Nishkama, the overall substance, Shankaracharya is deducing. The overall purport of the whole thing is one should be a Nishkama. So one person who is a Nishkama, who has given up all those desires, Atmanameva prarthayataha Atmana. By his self, he is prarthayate, he is he is requesting for Atma only. Atmanameva prarthayataha Atmana. By his self, he is seeking the self only. Atmanameva, that is, he is seeking the self only. Atmana, by his self. By his self means his body-mind complex. So by his self, he is seeking that particular Atman only. By that man, Atma labhyate. By that man, this Atma will be attained. Atma will be attained means it will be known, it will be understood. This is a Gneya Brahma. We are talking about something which has to be understood, not something which has to be attained. So katham labhyate ityuchyate.
Katham labhyate ityuchyate.
Tasya Atmakamasya Esha Atma Vivrunute Prakashayati Paramarthikim Tanum Swam Swakiyam Swayathatmyam Ityarthaha. So Tasya means to that person. Who is that person? Atma Kamasya. He has given up all other desires and he is only an Atma Kami. So it also reflects another shloka from Gita. What is that? Yastu Atmaratireva Syat. Do you remember that shloka in Gita? Yastu Atmaratireva Syat Atmatruptasya Manavaha Atmanyevacha Santushtaha Tasya Karyam Na Vidyate. In somewhere we got that shloka. So that shloka, it is somewhat similar to that. Atmaratihi, he is interested in his own self, he is not looking outside. So he is called Atmarati, Atmatruptaha, Atmatushtaha. So such a man only will get. Katham labhyate, how will he get it? Tasya Atmakamasya, Esha Atma, this particular Atma, Vivrunute means Prakashayati. It reveals itself, it shows itself like a lover. Then Paramarthikim Tanum, what type of body? It is not a physical body, it is a Paramarthikim body. Paramarthiki means that supreme Artha, that Mokshakhya Artha. Parama Artha is what? The supreme goal is Moksha. that sort of moksha rupa artha, that sort of body. Body means tanu. The word tanu also comes. The etymological meaning of tanu is tanu vistare. Vistara means expansion. Tanyate iti tanuhu. Our human body is also called tanu. You must be knowing that word tanu. Human body is known as tanu. Tanu vistare. Tanyate aharena iti tanuhu. That is, by eating food, it grows and grows. So that is what is called tanu. But here you can take that mokshakya, paramarthika tanu means that which is all expanded, which is there everywhere. That which is all expansive, that which is all pervading. That is that tanu. That all pervading tanum swakiyam swayathatmyam. Yathatmyam means its own real nature. Yathatmyam, its real nature, it is revealing. Ityarthaha. This word tanu, did you follow? Tanu is tanyate iti tanuhu. Tanyate aharena. That which grows by taking food is ahara. But paramarthikim tanu means that that supreme, that all pervading self, that is being revealed to the sadhaka. That atma which chooses a sadhaka as his favorite shishya or favorite disciple, then it reveals itself to that sadhaka. That is the overall meaning. Then kimcha anyat.
Kimcha anyat.
What else? What else has to be told? Then now we'll read the mantra. Na virato duscharitat.
Navirato duscharitat.
Na shanto na samahitah.
Nashanto na samahitah.
Na shanta manaso vapi.
Nashanta manaso vapi.
Prajnanena enamapnuyat.
Prajnanena ivamapnuyat.
Prajnanena enam apnuyat.
Prajnanena inamapnuyat.
Your book says na or va?
Naina.
Naina, yeah. Prajnanena enam apnuyat. Okay, here what should not be your what are the disqualifications he is saying. So and so this type of man will not get, this type of man will not get. So he is disqualifying some certain type of people. What are all the prerequisites and who are the people who are disqualified? Na avirato. Not the one who has not got this, not the one who has not got this, not the one who has not got this. In that manner, it is using double negatives in every word. Na avirataha. Virataha is one word. Virataha means one who has, renounced everything. Virataha. Avirataha means one who has not renounced. Na avirataha means again a double negative. So one who is attached to all the things. So let us see this. Let us take out this na. Avirataha will not get it. Avirata means one who has not renounced the worldly things. One who has not developed a distaste for all these things, he will not get. One who is still having a rati or interest in all these things, he will not get it. Na one from what? Na avirataha duscharitat. From all these duscharitat, from all bad things, he has not come out of them. He has not given up all the bad things. He is still doing all the bad things or prohibited things. Then na ashantaha. Ashanta is again a nakara is there. Then a na plus ashanta. Then ashanta will not get it. Na ashanta. Ashanta means one who has not achieved that shama. Shanta, the very word shanta comes from one who has achieved that shama, that self-control. Then na asamahitaha. Samahita means one whose mind is in a samadhi, one whose mind has reached that state of tranquility. Asamahitaha means one who has not reached that stage. Na asamahitaha. This particular asamahita is again excluded. Asamahita is excluded. Then na ashanta manasaha. One whose mind is still wandering about for worldly things. Ashanta manasaha. Na ashanta manasaha. These people, prajnanena na apnuyat. This na applies to this for all the people. Na ashanta manaso vapi prajnanena. Prajnanena means by mere theoretical knowledge. By mere theoretical knowledge of Brahma. You read Veda, you go to a teacher, and then you also listen to all these Veda Vakyas like Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi and all these things. That is all that prajnanam. That prajnanam has not been realized. So that prajnanena enam na apnuyat. This na has to come here in all these cases. अविरतः प्रज्ञानेन न आप्नुयात्, देन् अशान्तः प्रज्ञानेन न आप्नुयात्, असमाहितः प्रज्ञानेन न आप्नुयात्, अशान्तमनसः प्रज्ञानेन न आप्नुयात्. Prajnanena means by mere theoretical knowledge. Na आप्नुयात् means he will not attain. It is a third person singular. Na आप्नुयात् means he will not attain. That is the meaning. So duscharitat aviratah prajnanena enam na आप्नुयात्. So likewise for all the things you have to say to use that na for apply that na for all the people. So is the mantra clear? Let us read the bhashyam. Na duscharitat
न दुश्चरितात्
प्रतिषिद्धात्
प्रतिषिद्धात्
श्रुति स्मृत्यविहितात्
श्रुति स्मृत्यविहितात्
पापकर्मणः
पापकर्मणः
अविरतः अनुपरतः.
अविरतः अनुपरतः.
Okay, this anuparatah, aviratah, anuparatah. So uparati is one word which we use in Vedanta. That is sadhana chatushtaya, that uparati titiksha, that shamadhi shatka sampatti. In that shamadhi shatka sampatti, that uparati is one thing. What are those things? That uparati titiksha, that uparati is one thing. Uparati means that withdrawal from all these sensual pleasures. So aviratah means one who has anuparatah, one who has not withdrawn from all these sensual pleasures. He is a totally rata. He is very much having so much of interest in all these things. So na duscharitat pratishiddhat shruti smrutyavihitat. So shruti smruti. Shruti and smruti have codified certain things as certain bad deeds. So those things, from those things, this man has not come out. He is still in that realm only. He is still in their influence only. So that particular person is referred to here. Papa karmanaha avirataha. From all these sinful deeds, he has not desisted himself. He has not come out of those things. He has not desisted himself from all those things. Then napi इंद्रिय लौल्यात् अशान्तः अनुपरतः. Okay, this next one ashanta, he is explaining the word ashanta. Ashanta, why ashanta? Indriya laulyat. This indriya lolatvam is this temptation. Lolatvam is a beautiful word. Lolatvam is a temptation of the senses. Temptation by the senses. That indriya laulyam. That indriya laulyat, by this temptation of the senses, the fellow has not come out. Napi indriya laulyat ashantaha anuparataha. He wants to practice, he wants to do this study Vedanta, he wants to do some meditation, but indriyas are dragging him elsewhere. So that is that indriya laulyam. He is a victim to his sensual temptations. So that is it. Indriya laulyat ashantaha anuparataha. Napi asamahitaha anekagramana vikshipta chittaha. So asamahitaha, the third word is being explained. Asamahitaha. We know that this samahita word we get very often. Samadhi, it comes from samadhi. That is one whose mind is very stable, where it has come out of all distractions, and then it is not getting pulled here and there by all these things. So that is what is called a samahita chitta. Napi asamahitaha, that is anekagramana. That is, his mind is thinking in different ways. Ekagramana is mind which is focused on one thing. Anekagramana means his mind is moving in different directions. He cannot concentrate on too many things at the same time. So if he is concentrating on too many things, he cannot concentrate on this Brahma. He cannot concentrate on his self. So that is why such a person, asamahitaha anekagramana vikshipta chittaha. This chitta is vikshipta. Vikshipta is one state of mind. This vikshipta means kshipadhatu means throwing away. Kshipadhatu means throwing away. Vikshipta means it is being tossed about here and there. Vikshipta chitta, the mind is tossed about here and there. That is called a vikshipta chitta. Chitta vikshepa is another word. Vikshepa means it is in that state where it is being thrown here and there. So vikshipta chittaha. So such a person, then samahita chittopi san samadhana phalarthitvat napi ashanta manasaha. Okay, so no, we have to stop here. Phalarthitvat. Samahita chittopi san samadhana phalarthitvat. Okay, though this man is trying to be samahita chittaha, samahita chittopi san samadhana phalarthitvat, then he is in a samadhi. When he is in a samadhi, there is a phalarthi, he is still a phalarthi. When he is in a samadhi, he is still he is aspiring for some say benefit from that samadhi. So he is still thinking about the benefit of that samadhi. So even that thinking or even that thought about the benefits of that samadhi or some fruit of that samadhi, he should not have it in mind. So that is again a distraction for him. When he is in a samadhi, he is thinking of something else. He is thinking of some fruit of that samadhi. So he should not have that also. He should be totally desire free. So that is it. Samahita chittopisam samadhana phalarthitvat. This phalarthitvam is very much there. Samadhana means chitta samadhanasya phalarthitvat. He is still expecting some result due to that samadhi. So even that should not be there. Then napi ashanta manasaha vyapruta chittaha. So ashanta manasa, he is explaining. Ashanta manasa is one whose mind is vyapruta. It is vyapara means activity. Vyapara actually means activity. Vyapruta chitta means which is engaged in so many activities. One who is engaged in so many activities, that is ashanta manasaha. So you have to stop all other activities. Stop all other activities and you have to concentrate on this. So that is what it says. Ashanta manasa vyapruta chittaha prajnanena brahma vijnanena enam prakrutam atmanam apnuyat. So this na has to be applied here. Prajnanena, that is brahma vijnanena, that is by merely knowing this Brahman theoretically. By merely knowing this Brahman theoretically, na apnuyat, he will not be able to get it. He will not be able to prakrutam atmanam, this particular atma which is under discussion now. Prakrutam atma, prakrutam we know, prakrutam is this particular atma which is this particular thing which is under discussion. That prakrutam atmanam na apnuyat. Then yastu duscharitat virataha indriya laulyacha samahita chittaha. Again, the same things he is in one sentence he is explaining. Yastu means on the other hand the one. Tu on the other hand yaha, the one. Duscharitat virataha, one who has desisted himself from all the duscharitas, from all the bad deeds. One who has desisted himself from all these things. Then indriya laulyacha, he is not getting tempted by the indriyas. Then samahita chittaha, then his mind is stable in a samadhi. And then samadhana phaladapi upashanta manasaha. Then he samadhana phalam, he is not even aspiring for that samadhana phalam. He is not having some objective in mind when he is sitting in a samadhi. He is not having any objective in mind. He is not having some objective means some punyam or something like that, or attaining some God's status. So all those things, it is not there. Samadhana phaladapi upashanta manasaha acharyavan prajnanena yathoktam atmanam prapnoti ityarthaha. So one who has desisted himself, then one who is a samadhanavan, then who is not interested in the phala of that thing, then acharyavan. So this is one thing which Shankaracharya is adding. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. There is one Upanishad saying, that is one can understand Brahman only when he has an Acharya. So Acharya is somebody who is going to guide you, who is going to watch your progress in this spiritual path. So that is the thing. Because the basic problem with most of us is, we want to read some book and then we just go to Ramakrishna Mission, pick up a book and then we feel that we have learnt. So that is not enough. That is what he says. It is not enough to pick up a book and read and then you think that you have learnt some Atman. You have to go to a teacher. You have to sort out all your doubts regarding various things. All your doubts have to be sorted out. That is at an intellectual level. Then at your level, what is the sadhana you have to do? That cleaning process of the mind, that cleaning has to be done. That is known to you only. That is known to you, and the teacher of course will be observing how far you have cleaned your mind. So the teacher will tell you your mind is still not very clean. So So that is the thing. So Acharyavan Prajnanena Yathoktam Atmanam Prapnoti. Only Acharyavan and only a man who has desisted from all these things, only he can get. And not the fellow who is Avirata, not the fellow who is Ashanta, not the fellow who is Asamahita. All these people will not get. So that is the meaning. I think the only last mantra is there. If the time is over, we will take it next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.